Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys doing well on this great Saturday evening. Had a chance to finish a little work. It's getting a little dark outside, so I figured I'd do a video. I get a chance to do one and catch up a little bit. Thank you guys for all the comments. I appreciate all the feedback, positive and negative. I know some of you guys don't like my screaming. But again, I say this and I kind of go back to it a lot for the new subscribers as well. We are in a battle. We are in a war. And this society has been turned backwards because of all the media, all the agendas going on out there to make men weaker. And we need to stand up and we need to stop fooling around with this nonsense and realize that the history has shown us that being self-control, being able to fight against temptation and not just go ahead and release energy is so important to being strong, being great protectors, providers, and doing those things that men should be doing. In this age of men, I see a lot of young men struggling with a lot of different issues, trying to figure out what a man should be. And so when we sit there and look at this, the screaming means nothing in the long run. What it means, but, is that we need to wake up as a society and realize what's going on here. And this is what we try to do with these videos. So for those who don't like the screaming, I'm going to do it at the beginning and at the end. I try to leave it there at this point so that you know when it's coming. And certainly, I love your feedback. If you don't like it, I appreciate that. But I'm going to continue doing this until we win this battle. All right, so anyway, enough of that. Back to our points here. Shout outs before we start talking. Redline eliminator, deleting the dating app. We're going to do one on that. I like that Redline. We'll talk about that. Another one. Lighting the dark. Thank you. Ben, blue balls. That's always very possible. But the idea is that you want to transmute that energy before you actually get to the point where it's hurting you. And you want to transmute it. And we go back to Kendler's sixth right, talking about transmuting all your sexual energy and all of that, it's semen you have, you're transmuting through your system to create a tremendous positive effect for you to be able to be healthy and strong and successful, like we've been for thousands of years. You got to go back and look at a lot of people who did this to do that. So, Light in the Dark, thank you again, Ben. Akash Pathal, thank you. Jules Michael, thank you. Jalen Mach, thank you. And Booster, talking about vegetarian, we'll get to that one. SRtscats, Stray Cats, probably it's like what it is. Best decision I made, great. Continue, my friend. I hope so. Cream Pea, 6 months. This was a little bit before, so I'm hoping it's a lot longer than this. So great job, my friend. Jon the Dawn, Marvin Lang, Golden Eagle, Gio the Genius, Jennings, thank you. Giovanni again, thanks. Good to hear from you, my friend. After 3 months, everybody is nicer to me. Cats, animals, that's very true. We probably should do one on that again as well. But thank you guys. All right, so at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, we're going to talk about a topic that was given to us by YF4453. This was a little bit a while ago, but I want to get to it now because it's kind of relevant to a lot of stuff that we're talking about. So his topic was that SR is the real vaccine. And I could not agree with you more, YF. I think that with this age that we talked about all the vaccines with, all the diseases and out there that people have and taking vaccines and they always have side effects, things like that. The one thing that's going to help you health-wise and is going to make you successful is really controlling yourself. And when you control yourself, the first part of that is obviously semen retention and being able to transmute that energy into other types of things instead of chasing women, instead of releasing. There's a lot of research showing the negative effects, talking about releasing energy. And we've talked about those in the last couple, especially with the Oneida experiment and the last couple we've done, talking about how, and these are all stigmas that have been around for a long time, where people have trouble brain-wise because you're getting air in your brain because you're basically, letting go and releasing without any purpose. And you're just losing all those minerals and those energy every time you end up doing it. And I know because I did that for 47 years and I saw that and I've seen that. And so as I started going into my late 50s, I said, I had moderate success with the Fountain of Youth book with Keller, and that's great. And I continue doing that. And that's wonderful. The chakras are important. Exercise is important. But the sixth one is what made a difference about 1,300 days now, a little more than that. And that was basically transmuting that energy, going from, that you could release it, but you're not releasing it. You're not edging. You're not even in monk mode. You're basically moving it to something else. Now, we don't have any control or being reactive. If you see a beautiful woman, you're going to go ahead and react. But at that point, you can go ahead and transmute it. Like I use the breathing method, sticking one finger in the nose, breathing in, move it to the other, breathing out, and all of a sudden you calm yourself down, but all that energy that's moving up is moving to other parts of your body to health. And lots of stuff online talking about the actual anatomy and how that works and how things get heated up and it moves to other areas of your body. You can transmute it somewhere else, and that's a key type of thing. So when we talk about the real vaccine here, the thing that's going to get you the healthiest is keeping your energy. Now that makes very logical sense if you think about it in terms of the fact that you have the power, warriors, to create children based on what you're giving to a woman. She needs that. She needs that to be able to give it to have a child. That is so powerful. And you know this also because women get this energy from you, whether or not, they're getting it through a pleasurable experience with no procreation or not, they feel revitalized. It's almost like an elixir for them because you're transferring energy to them all the time. They are, receiving it, and so they feel great. But you feel exhausted. And we live in a society where there is messages given to a lot of males, especially young males, is to just waste all their energy. And I believe, as Kellner is talking about, the difference between, growing old and fast or, having health for many, many years is holding on to your energy. And I'm glad that I kind of decided to make this call at 59 years old, 4 years ago now, that I decided to go ahead and make this jump and take this chance of going to monk mode. Now, I'm not a perfect person, and so I've had to go to monk mode a couple different times because obviously, I'm not used to it. I'm still just kind of fighting through the 47 years of the other stuff, of just basically doing something. But the thing is that once you start doing that, your whole life changes. You have so many benefits you have. And this is why we call the SR and YF, you're right on target. This is the elixir. This is the vaccine. This is the real vaccine. You don't need to fool around with this because basically what's happening is that energy you use and it's coming back into your system is healing you. And I fully believe that. And you may think, some people may think that, I'm kind of crazy, but I've seen it. I'm going to be 63 in June. And I feel like I'm 35 years old. And funny enough, that's about the time when I started doing these Fountain of Youth exercises. And what Keller always says in this book is he talks about the fact that as you start doing those exercises, it's almost like time stands still. Your age is slowing down to the point where if you started these at your 20s, 30s, you could theoretically still look like that for many, many, many years. But it's not only that, it's the fact that number 6, when you're holding on to this energy that you're having, you're not releasing it through pictures and masturbation, things like that. You're basically holding on to your life force. And so because of that, you're not getting sick. I have not been sick. I think it was 2002 or something like that. I remember 2001, 2002. I don't remember exactly what day it was. But it's been a long time since I've been actually sick, that I actually had to miss work. I think it was a day. And the thing is that I even through all the COVID stuff, things like that, I didn't get sick at all. And I obviously, didn't have any kind of, shots, vaccines or anything like that. So I basically, kind of went through my vaccine, and my vaccine was basically the SR and the semen retention. And so when you look at this, you look at all the benefits you have. And we talk about the skin changing. We talk about that your muscles, even at my age, are coming out, getting stronger. I feel stronger. And obviously, because of that, you're a lot more confident. You can look people straight in the eye. You can get people, and because of that, you get lots of attractiveness. You get a lot of, people looking at you a different way. Men respect you a lot more. And of course, those men are going to be jealous and upset. But more often than not, you get a lot of respect. And women, they're flocking all over me. And it's not nothing to say in a egotistical way. It's more like it's flattering, because it never happened to me when I was younger, because I didn't understand any of this stuff. I had really struggling understanding and was told, and I listened to all of society talking about the fact that you have to treat women on a pedestal and a princess and all this kind of Disney stuff that we were talking about. When the bottom line really is, you go out and achieve your goals, you be the man, and women will follow. They will come after you because they sense it. They smell the retention in you. They smell that you're a man of control, that you're a man of value with this. You're a man who knows they're not going to fall for any temptation that comes along. And they may not always like it, but they respect you, and that's a big difference. And when women respect you, they tend to fall in love with those people, whether they agree or disagree with them. And many times they're not agreeing. They may even like the guy, but they fall in love because that man has that ability to be the leader, to be up there. And that person has to be respected. But it starts with the small types of things, and you can't control things around you. We talk about this all the time, unless you control yourself first. And warriors, that's a big lesson. And I'm learning that lesson day by day, and I'm hoping you guys are too. We got people doing 6 months and 3 months and 3 years, and that's just wonderful. Continue to battle. And this is why I always call this battling on, and I use the battle cry. It's a battle because every day is a battle. But the more you hold your energy, the more you hold that semen within yourself, and whenever you get excited, which we all do, we're all blessed with great sexual energy. Now, a lot of young men lose it right away, and they lose it over time because they're releasing 4 or 5 times a day. And that's how you get these dysfunctional type situations. Men in their 20s getting dysfunction. Just unheard of nowadays, but it's not really, that's hard to believe, because basically a lot of men are releasing all the time. And for what? Short-term pleasure. And I know that when you get short-term pleasure, all of a sudden now, you feel guilty. Over time, you're weaker. You're more intense, you're more anxious, and you're more fearful, and you're not as strong, and you're not as attractive, and all these things play into it. You're clear, not as clear. Your mind is not clear. This is why the old saying was that you'd go blind, and mentally you'd be in trouble. You'd lose your mental facilities. And there's something to be said in truth on all of that. Because when you think about it, I think the reason people end up, dying early or getting weaker and weaker is because they have no energy left. And you see this a lot of times when men have shot all their energy over the years and they have nothing left. And what ends up happening is they don't have that drive anymore. They lose it. And now all of a sudden they get illnesses, and it's not ironic that you get all kinds of sicknesses and everything. I think there's a high correlation between this. So this is why the more you can keep as much of your energy possible, and you're going to lose energy, whether it's emotional energy once in a while, physical energy, even if you end up making a mistake and you got to start again, those things happen. But over the most part, if you continue to get the grind of continuing to battling every day against the evil one, and you're continuing to hold in and transmuting so that your whole body gets that, then all of a sudden, a lot of those illnesses, things you've had, they become better. Your health becomes better. Your perspective becomes better. You're happier. You're more attractive. People like you more. They have more opportunities, so you're making more money. All these things because people want to be around somebody. And in fact, they may not understand how you became like you did. And a lot of times we don't talk about this. This is something that's been around through the whole ages. All you got to do is look at famous people. whether it's Tesla, whether you're talking about Muhammad Ali, whether you're talking about, a lot of great historic figures, Hippocrates, lots of people like this, Hippocratic, you got the Hippocratic oath. Those people did a tremendous job of realizing that they did not have time to go ahead and release their energy. They want to focus on inventions. And Edison and a lot of these people that created a lot of these inventions, they had no time for releasing energy. They kept their energy. They need their energy. And so this is the whole thing. Mike Tyson, when he was on top in the boxing area, this type of stuff occurs. And a lot of boxers, a lot of people talk about, I'm not releasing, if I have 4 or 5 months before I have a boxing match, because you want to be as strong as you can be. Now, if you are married, or in my case, if you're married, if you're wanting to have children and you're going to go ahead and procreate, you're going to lose some energy. There's no doubt about it. But you're creating a new being. And that's what you can leave the world with. And that, to me, is a great thing. But beyond that, I think you can still enjoy having intercourse with the woman that you're in love with, but you don't have to release. Now, I understand that's a real tough situation. I understand that, because we're not told that. We're told the opposite, that you must release, and if you don't, that's a problem. But in fact, when you look at a lot of the old research, especially in the 1900s and the 1950s and so on, in the 1970s, you'll see that really a lot of the studies that you're looking at, the Oneida experiment's a good example, that they reached tremendous potential in their bodies when they did not release. They were connected with the female, and both the female and male got great benefits because the energy was not transmuted from the male to the female. They had intercourse, they had a great connection, but there was not a release. And when you start ejaculating, releasing, then all of a sudden you change everything. You go from one person losing the energy to another person gaining the energy, and all of a sudden, if you do that more and more and more, and we call them energy suckers, vampire suckers, they take your energy, and females love your energy. This is why they're attracted to you. Now, this is subconscious, not really conscious. You ask a lot of women, they may not tell you, this person's attractive. They might not even admit it, but they want to be around that person. There's something drawing them to that person. And what it is that, in my opinion, the energy level, that aura you show, because you are holding in, and your body is becoming intoxicated with all that energy, and you become a force that people can't get away from. Your confidence level. You can walk up to people and start talking with them. I never could do that. I do that now in the last 3 years. It's amazing to me how much I can do that. I'm not scared. I'm not really scared of anything. And I think this is what happens when you become more and more, retaining more, and you're able to actually transmute it. Now, it depends. Some people ask, and I think we'll probably do one, is how long does it take to really see benefits? Well, a lot of it depends on your past history. When I had 47 years of back and forth and all the effects of that, it's not something that happened overnight. It probably took me 6 months to find really a lot of types of effects. So the longer you've been off of it and having problems, the longer it's going to take to see the benefits. Some of you young guys may see them right away, especially because you're young and you're still working out, doing a lot of stuff. And so that's why I recommend for a lot of you young guys, I wish I knew this information in some ways when I was younger. But I think God has a purpose for us at all times, and it's right now for me to kind of share these ideas with you guys, as I'm going through this myself. So the thing is that I think, warriors, the key is realizing that you don't really need medicine. There's very few things. This is my opinion, again, holistic type of thing. My opinion, you don't really need a lot of medicine. This is why the medical field has made money, big pharma, for years on us, with things that I just don't think are needed. In fact, you can look at situations and, there's the old conspiracy theory that, diseases are out there caused so that people can go get medicine and make money. And that's why the health area is so popular. But in my mind, I haven't been sick for, many, many years, 20 years. So to me, I don't understand how people are taking 4, 5, 6 pills a day. But I do understand this from perspective of the society telling us this is what you need to do, and that you need to depend on having health, and the people just don't look good. And a lot of it is because, to me, they're losing their energy. And I'm not saying they're all going in images and doing it that way, but you're losing your energy. You can just see the drawn out look as people get older. You can just tell those people who have struggled with this whole thing, this whole addiction, thinking this is the way to be happy, to do this. And when you talk about retention, some people think it's a crazy idea. They think that we're going crazy when we talk about this. But the idea is that the real reality in my book is the retention, not the other thing. Not having, sex, multiple partners 4 or 5 times a week. But again, it took a long time for me to get to that point. And what I'm trying to do is kind of share it with you guys. And those who, those who kind of, write and say, okay, well, I don't agree and all that other kind of stuff. And I appreciate that. You may not agree. It's up to you to try to use the information that we give in a way. But I have no reason to, I'm not making any kind of profit. I'm not even monetized. I don't really feel like I'm going to do that right now for a long time. I have no reason to do that. At this point, my sole reason is trying to get this information out. And you may agree, you may disagree. We have about 5,000 subscribers, and I'm very grateful for all of that. You guys are wonderful. But the bottom line to me is really that we're trying to get the information out. And I think the key is you guys can then decide what you want to do. You may look at a lot of better production when it comes to videos. I'm not really interested in that. My technology skills are not that great anyway. I may try to get better in the next, year or so in doing things. But the thing is, I'm more interested in getting the information to you guys. I don't want to put a big show on and you guys, view it just because we get views or whatever you want to call them. The key thing to me is that, can you use this information to help you? And I know I have. So if I have, maybe there's something you guys can use yourself. So anyway, the real vaccine, my friends, is semen retention. Go ahead and use that and keep yourself healthy from days on. You should be able to live to 90 to 100 years old if you start this early enough. Now, in my case, I'm not sure how long I'm going to live, but I know that I'm on the right track because I'm feeling younger all the time. And a lot of you guys have wrote, and I appreciate that, saying that. And it's just because I feel tremendous, and I think finally the effects of all that retention has hit me. When I first started using videos, I didn't lose any weight, and I had issues, but that was because I had a long time of having this stuff in my system and losing energy all the time. Now I'm building it up, and it takes a little time to do that, but I feel tremendous, and I think that's kind of why I share for you guys to look at this. But this vaccine, I would not be taking any kind of other types of medications unless you had to, but I would practice retention because that's the key. All right, my friends, a long one today. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you guys have a great Sunday tomorrow. I'll see if I can do one if I get a chance. Until then, my friends, 2 things, and for those who don't like my streaming, it's coming. It's coming. The first thing is, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number 2, guys, continue to battle!